Hello, you're playing The Waiting Game, the show designed to keep you sane until the game you want comes out. This week, it's the Prince of Pickpockets, the Pope of Purloiners, Thief. After 10 long years, the superbly stealthy Thief series is making a return, bringing Garrett back to his hometown to skim some of the riches from the wealthy people that live there.
The city has changed. I've changed.
Keeping to series tradition, stealth is the first order of business in Thief, with direct confrontation being left to a desperate last resort.
Not even you can evade the watch!
Unfortunately, the chances of you stealthily pinching a copy of the game before it launches are pretty slim, so how are you going to while away those hours? Well, how about Dishonored? It might seem a bit obvious given the striking similarities to Thief, but then that's no coincidence. Eidos Montreal admit they've taken some inspiration from Dishonored, which was undoubtedly influenced by Thief in the first place, so really, Dishonored is quite a safe bet. In the game, you play as Corvo, the Queen's personal bodyguard who gets framed for her assassination, after which you get, wait for it, Dishonored. Like Thief, stealth is a really important part of Dishonored, and it's easy for Corvo to be overrun if you're careless enough to be spotted. You can complete the whole game in fact without killing anyone, and if you can do that, you'll be a stealth master by the time Thief rolls around.
Use this newfound power. My gift to you.
You can also acquire and upgrade a number of powers over the course of Dishonored, ones that let you see through walls to track enemies, for example. While Garrett won't boast as many of these abilities as Corvo does, he does at least have Focus, an advanced vision mode that highlights objects you can climb or candles you can snuff out, giving you more shadows in which to hide. Another game with some serious stealth mechanics thrown into the mix is indie title Mark of the Ninja, though if you're planning on playing this one through without killing anybody, you can just forget it. A stealthy, blood-spattered 2D platformer, Mark of the Ninja allows you to sneak around guard-infested levels, picking them off one by one as quietly as possible. It's the game's execution that really adds to the stealth element, with guards only being visible when in your character's line of sight. Noises are represented by little round circles, allowing you to see the impact you're having on the world, and the satisfaction afforded by the one-hit stealth kills is immense. Mark of the Ninja can be really rather challenging, which should teach you about the importance of patience when playing a stealth game. With any luck, this will prevent you from smashing anything to bits when playing Thief. Of course, if butchering people from the shadows isn't your thing, and for Christ's sake, why not, you could always try reading about somebody else's skullduggery, rather than doing your own. The Gentleman Bastard sequence is a fantasy series currently 3 books strong, but with plans for a grand total of 7. Written by Scott Lynch, the Gentleman Bastard sequence follows a professional thief and con artist, Locke Lamora, as he unburdens the wealthy from their riches in the city of Camor. He's not the only con man in the city, however, and soon rises to become leader of the Gentleman Bastards, a group of master con artists and thieves. Adventure ensues! Aside from having an entertaining name, the Gentleman Bastard sequence is worth a look in, as it'll give you some valuable perspective on the mindset of a thief, allowing you to feel like one without, actually robbing people blind. Which is good really, because I don't think I'm supposed to encourage criminal activity in these videos. If you prefer your novels a little bit more fantastical, however, you could always read Night Watch, a book from Terry Pratchett's wonderful Discworld series. The 29th Discworld book, in fact, Night Watch sees policeman Sam Vimes unwittingly get sent back in time, which, as you might imagine, is slightly problematic. During his adventures, he comes across Havelock Vetinari, a young student of the Assassin's Guild. A fair portion of the book follows young Havelock skulking around the murky streets, with enough subterfuge and revolutionary skullduggery to see you through to Thief's launch day with ease. Just don't get too freaked out if the book mentions some stuff you don't quite understand. With 28 volumes stacked up before it, you're probably going to run into some intricacies in the universe that don't quite add up. And finally, when it comes to stealthy dudes scaling things and infiltrating heavily guarded areas without being detected, there's really one game that stands out alongside Thief, and that's Assassin's Creed, the first one. If you somehow missed the first game, it focuses on Altair ibn Lahad, an assassin who disgraces himself and has to go back to being a junior assassin.
We are nothing if we do not abide by the Assassin's Creed.
You're then tasked with killing 9 high-profile Templars across the cities of Acre, Damascus and Jerusalem, using your spiffy parkour skills to stalk your targets and, ultimately, stab them up a bit. Now, to be honest, AC1 is a little unrefined gameplay-wise, that's why Assassin's Creed 2 turned out to be such a revelation. Among other things, the enemy AI is incredibly intense. Every guard across the world is unbelievably keyed up, meaning, unless you pretty much remain in blend mode at all times, you're going to be fighting for your life within seconds. While frustrating, it also makes those moments of perfect stealth incredibly rewarding. While this is a partly accidental feature of Assassin's Creed, it's not a million miles away from the more demanding stealth action of Thief. The first Assassin's Creed game isn't perfect, but as far as stealthy stabby experiences go, you could do far worse while waiting for Thief. Right then, that's it from me for this week, but if you fancy taking a look at any of the things we talked up in this episode, follow the link on screen now to check out a handy Amazon list. Until next week though, feel free to make your own recommendations by leaving a comment or tweeting with the hashtag GSWaitingGame. See you next time!